Alright, you have to excuse the angle. I kind of set the computer up in a different place than I had it, than I would have liked to have had it. But welcome to the Rodcast, and I'm going to show you something. Yeah, these are from an earlier video I just did with a April Fool's prank. But anyway, I did a thing. So I was laying in my bed one night, thinking about how, well, as anyone knows, I have been an author, a published author, since 2012. And I started writing when in like 1998, I believe, when I was 14. Short, scary stories, and I've since branched into some that are not scary, but I released my first published book in 2012, which was called Scary Stories. And since then, I did a couple more books, but Reminiscence, which was 2014, my second one, I didn't have enough to do a whole nother book, so basically what I did was I just put all of the stories from Scary Stories into that. And so it was like a double book. So, I did, and after that, a couple years later in 2016, I did Nonsensical, and I basically did the same thing. I put Reminiscence and Scary Stories back in it, and I've done a few books since. I did Insomnia and other short stories about my insomnia. I did, and I did a couple not scary ones, Angels and Heaven and The Boy in the Box. But recently, in 2021 in October, I did a redoing of my first book, Scary Stories, to commemorate, because this year, of course, is 2022, and it's the second year, it's the 10th year anniversary of my becoming a published author. I think like sometime in the summer. But I wanted to get the book out in October because it was spooky season. And so what I did was I did this book in the end of October, and this has all the stories that were included in Scary Stories, plus there is 3 bonus stories that I added. And I did this, I took the picture that's on the cover. It's a trail that I discovered last year. It's a pretty neat place to be. And on the back you'll see my author picture and the information about the book that I wrote on there. And this is 86 pages altogether. It's got an introduction. It's got, like I said, there's 8 stories in here. And this is how the book looked when it first came out. But I was sitting on my bed one night and I realized, you know, the hardcover version is $12 and the paperback version is only $5. So I decided to make some small little changes. So what I did was I left the paperback looking like this hardcover looks now, with the picture on the cover you see and everything, and on the back. And with the hardcover, I did this. So now this version, as you can see, has a pumpkin on the cover as opposed to the trail picture, another picture I took. The author picture is different. And this one is 140 pages because inside here, instead of 8 stories, there's 12. I added even more stories so that when you buy this $12 version instead of the $5, you're going to get those extra stories. The beginning and introduction and the about the author section are a little bit longer too. So like I said, this one's 140 pages. But, you know, I think it's pretty neat. When I did Scary Stories, I did like the contents like this, and I had the pages numbered. But I go through a program called AbbeyWord, and to do my actual writing, like you see on here, my manuscript inside here, the writing part, and then it goes through the publishing company, which is called KDP, or Kindle Direct Publishing. It started as CreateSpace, but then they turned into that. Well, Abbey Word and KDP are not really lined up when it comes to numbering pages. So if you do something on Abbey Word and you have your numbers there, when it goes through KDP, it's not going to be the same number, you know, as it was when you first did it. I mean, this takes a lot of editing. You have to go through, you have to edit for grammatical errors, and I had to put my manuscript through the editing part on the website quite a few times before I had what I was satisfied with. And when I first released Scary Stories back in 2012, truth be told, I was releasing that book with more excitement than anything else because it was my first published book. I had never been a published author before. I wanted to get something out there so people can read what I wrote. So it was kind of released in a mess. There was grammatical errors. There were more errors that I fixed. And also when I did this, one of my biggest stories on here is called Running Out of Time. And although I don't have it in front of me, it's in a tote. I actually have the mask for the killer character, whose name is John Black. Well, his full name's Jacoby Jonathan Blackwell II, but they call him John Black, and he's named after his father, obviously, which is the same thing. They call him John Black, and he's got that same name. So, my brother and one of our friends who's now passed away, we made short videos, and that's basically what inspired it. And we did those short videos back in 2002, so that's 20 years ago this year, which is crazy. And he passed away. Our friend, he passed away last couple years ago in 2020. So the front of the book has a little like tribute thing that I wrote where I said this one's for you. And so yeah, when we did that short little video first, the killer actually didn't have a name. I was the one who came up with the name, and my brother's character's name, AJ. It's strange because we never gave him a name, and even when I wrote this book, I didn't give him a name that, something that AJ could stand for. So it's just AJ. But anyway, yeah, I mean, a lot of stories that I wrote, and this is probably true of a lot of authors, even some of the most famous ones, a lot of the stories that I wrote have actually been, gone through more than a few, I should say, little tweaks since the book came out. For instance, I have a story in here called The Basement that I think was called The Crawl Space when it first came out. Running Out of Time was Out of Time. That was the name of our short film. We did a short film called The Killer with a character named Carl, and I incorporated a character named Carl into my story. I think it was The Ghost or something, which was The Ghost, by the way, is another version of a story called The Lurking that I did with a friend. Another friend who's passed away. It was one of the first, who actually passed away last year, but it was one of the first, well, actually, I think that was the first story that I wrote. And I remember I wrote it on blue-lined paper in a notebook, and I can't find that to this day, so I haven't been able to, publish that story, but it wasn't really that great anyway. I think I've come a long way, and the stories that are in this book are better than that, but anyway, yeah, there's been a few name tweaks in there. I swapped a couple names for names I like better, and I mean, like I said, it's pretty cool though that I actually still have the pumpkin mask that we used in the little short film, so I can actually dress up as John Black anytime I want. I don't have the orange coat because that belonged to our friend's grandfather. After he passed away, I think he gave him the coat or something, so we gave him the coat back when we were done making the videos and the movies. But I have a black coat, which I've incorporated into the extended, because what I did is, when I did this, I extended the ending to Running Out of Time, and another one called Mirror World in here, which I think was Mirror Land when I first wrote it. I extended the endings to those two stories, too. So that's something else you get in here. But yeah, like I said, I mean, a couple of the stories, I'm actually a member of a group, and I've told them, and I think I told one on YouTube before too, and I told another story on YouTube, but it had like copywritten names of things in it, so I didn't bother publishing that one. Just like I was wanting to do a fan fiction of a book, a continuation of a book, but I don't know if I would do it because it's copyright and everything. But I mean, yeah, like I said, we had fun doing those movies, and it's been fun writing books. I mean, I have fun being an author, and my books are available on Amazon.com if anyone wants to buy any of them. And I actually started writing under my real full name, Rodney Burgoyne. And starting with like a book or two before this one, I started doing the Rod B thing because I found out you can write with pen names like that. And basically, I just came up with Rod B because, as you know, Rod is short for Rodney. And the B part was just because my last name begins with a B, and rather than just doing like the B with the decimal point, I figured it'd be fancier and cooler if I just did B like the word B. So that's how it came to be that, I came to be known as Rod B. And that's basically what I call myself in my YouTube videos too. Or any video I do online, I'm always Rod B. Except for a couple like my I Play Games videos where I was Mr. Dream. I called myself for a little bit. But then I started calling myself Rod B, and the page itself is actually my YouTube channel is called Rod B Films, and it used to be Rod Man Films before that because we had my friend had COK Productions. It was supposed to be like Children of the Corn, like the band Corn, but that was basically like our little film names that we did to do the movies. We wanted to try to do something cool like that, and I mean, we did those two movies, Out of Time and The Killer, and we did another one, Let's Make a Deal. It was like some corny drug movie, and it starred my friend's sister in it. But then we tried to do like sequels to the movies that were just terrible. It was like Out of Time 2, Let's Make Another Deal, and The Killer 2, but they weren't really that great. And I mean, the tape that I did them on got corrupted, so I can't even watch them now. It sucks, but I have the original tape, and I'd like to like do some dubbing thing to transport it, or however you'd say that. Transfer it. There you go, to some other medium besides the old video camera that I have that I've had for clearly over 20 years. But yeah, I mean, I had fun doing that because I love video cameras and videotaping things and like doing little documentaries. And I've done documentaries like walking around town and posted them on YouTube and stuff. But and I've written in my books about some of the information about my becoming an author, like where the names or the pictures of the books, because Reminiscence has a picture of the woods in Connecticut on it. Scary Stories didn't, but the cool thing about Scary Stories is the picture on Scary Stories cover and on the back is this picture here, this tree. And I didn't even know after all that time that this picture was still available in their collection of pictures. I thought that was really cool, and I did that because I wanted this book to be a tribute to the original Scary Stories. Like I said, I went back and hopefully I corrected everything. I mean, there could still be some grammatical errors, but I've been through this thing like I don't know how many times now, correcting and correcting and correcting grammatical errors and trying to make it the best it could be to show people how good of an author I am. And I think, I mean, I'm pretty impressed by the fact that I was able to do this book here, 140 pages and 12 stories in this thing. And a couple of the stories I just came up with, I think, like this year or the last couple of years. But I think you'll like them. I mean, there's a wide array of different stories in there that I think are pretty cool. One of the toughest things is probably coming up with character names. I mean, when I did The Boy in the Box, if anyone reads that book, they're going to probably be asking, well, I mean, I put the pronunciation of the boy's name in there, but they'll probably still be asking, how do you say his name? But his name is pronounced Tig, like tiger, but without the ER, just Tig, or Ty with a G. And, I mean, if you're Irish, like the WWE wrestler Sheamus, you'll probably say Toig or something. But yeah, it's pronounced Tig, and the reason I chose that is because I was looking up names, and that came up I was looking up like Irish names because my birthday is St. Patrick's Day. It just went by. I've got the ring, and I have an earring, the clover, and the clatter ring. Which, by the way, interestingly enough, I just learned, I guess, on the internet, supposedly this here with the three heart-shaped leaves is actually an oxalis, like the purple oxalis I have in my bathroom, the plant that my aunt got me. And apparently real clovers are the ones with the oval-shaped leaves. So I said, well, that's a bummer, because now I got a four-leaf oxalis, which is pretty cool, but I got to find a four-leaf clover now. But, I mean, we still call them clovers because it's a symbol of St. Patrick's Day, and I like them because it's my birthday. But, yeah, so like I said, I forgot what I was saying about that. Oh, the boy in the box with Tig. The name came because it means storyteller, I guess, in Irish, so I thought that was pretty cool. But, you know, that's a pretty neat kind of kiddish story. I mean, it has kind of a dark ending, sort of, but it's kind of a neat thing. I mean, I wanted to write a kid's book, and I'm going to try to do some more because I'd love to do it, but I'm not sure about ideas right now. And I had another book in the works that was going to be called High School Reunion, but I still haven't figured out what I want to do for that one, so it hasn't been finished writing. Same thing with, I was doing one called Ghost Town Chronicles. It was going to be kind of like, you know, like Goosebumps or Fear Street, how they did the series of books. It was going to be like that, except just called Ghost Town Chronicles, and it was going to be a bunch of different things. But I decided to, I mean, I had two stories in mind. The first one was called Sand, and it was going to be about this inanimate sand, or this sand-looking stuff that turned inanimate objects, inanimate things real. I might still do it, but I'm not sure. But the second one was going to be called, and I scrapped it because of the very name PGA, the Possessed Golfing Amateur, because it was going to be like too copyright stuff. But basically, it was going to be like that movie Like Mike, where he finds the basketball sneakers that belong to Michael Jordan. But in this one, it was going to be, he was going to find golf clubs that belong to Tiger Woods, but instead of just turning him pro like that, the clubs he found was going to actually make him, sorry, that's my cat, was actually going to make him, like, turn into a monster or something like a, but I decided to scrap that. Like I said, Sand I might still do, but I did include, Autumn Secrets in this book here, which is basically kind of similar to Canterbury Tales, where people just tell different, I mean, it's two stories in one technically, but I didn't say there was 13 stories in here because I just counted that as one. But, and I have one that I might tell it on YouTube because it's very short. It's called The Hand in the Graveyard, and I don't know if anyone's heard it. Well, actually, you know what? Why don't I just tell it right now? So anyway, the way it goes is there's these two boys, and they're in the graveyard, and they're at their grandfather's funeral, and they're sitting there listening to the eulogy, listening to the pastor, you know, talk at the funeral, and they see this hand, like, beckoning like this, like, come here. And the older boy decides to go follow it, but the younger boy's too afraid. So the younger brother watches his older brother follow this disembodied hand until both of them are out of sight. And he's sitting there in his chair, like, all afraid of what happened, and when the funeral ends, his mother asks him, where'd your brother go? And he tells him, and of course she doesn't believe him. And the town has a search party, and after that day, you know, they never see the boy again. So it's left a mystery as to where he actually went. I mean, I don't know if I had a dream of that or something like that. It just popped in my head, but like I said, it's a very short story. I mean, it's if I could find what page it's on in here, I could show you exactly how short it is. And I mean, some of the other stories, like Running Out of Time, it's really a long story, but like I said, let's see if I could find it. Okay, there's Figment. That's a good one. Oh, there it is. See, The Hand in the Graveyard. It starts on the bottom of this page. That's where the title of the story starts. You can't see it because the camera's being wacky, but it's on the bottom of that page. And then the next page, there it is right there. And it's just the one page and a little bit of writing on the next page. But so that was one of the newer stories I added. And like I said, there's 12 in total in here, and that's my biggest collection of scary stories to date. And like I said, I can't believe that, 10 years after first becoming an author in 2012, that I'm still going strong, still writing books, and hopefully still coming up with ideas. But yeah, I don't know what else I want to say about it. Like I said, I mentioned how in the introductions to the books, I mentioned about the pictures and what they were to give people a little bit of a background. Nonsensical, I think, was a picture of Vermont. And then I did one nonsensical zero random, which has more random stuff in it. And I think I included, like, was it insomnia or something, or reminiscence or something in there? One of my other stories I included in there, or my other books, because reminiscence was basically stories like in here, but they were like real life experiences that I've had. Like being a kid and noticing how when you look at something for long enough that's an inanimate object, you can swear that it's moving, like a doll's moving its feet and hands, and another, a bunch of other experiences I've had. And that one had, on the cover, nonsensical zero random, it was just me putting my hands up with the trees in the background because I wanted it to be a random picture for a random book. In my head, my thoughts and memories, which is just like it's a book about random memories of my mom having a flea market and stuff like that. That's just a picture of me up close on the cover. And then Angels and Heaven is a picture of the sky that I took, and the boy in the box is a picture of a boy in a box that I drew. And I did that because I wanted to go back to like the days, because I have a couple books that were like old books from like the 60s and 70s, and you can tell the style that they drew them in. There was like not really much detail, and I loved that, and how the old cartoons were like that before like CGI came around, like how you have the new cartoons. But I wanted to do something like that, so I drew the picture for that cover to make it look like, it was drawn by a kid, or drawn like in the old school years ago like that. But yeah, so it's been an adventure, like I said, writing, being an author, writing books, and it's one of the things I do when I'm not doing other things that I enjoy doing, like crochet, which I would love to do videos and teach people how to do that, and photography, which I love to do, and I usually do like landscape. I rarely include people in my pictures unless I had like their permission or something. I mean, I have pictures of my family members, but I don't think there's any that I've posted on social media. I mean, there's a couple, but not very many. But yeah, so that's the types of things that I love to do. So I hope to come up with ideas for more books. Like I said, I want to do another kid one, and I want to do another drawing for it. I was tossing around an idea of a book about an imaginary friend or something like that, named Imogene Airy. Get it, imaginary. And yeah, so I've been tossing that around in my head. My friend I told you that we made the movies together, his sister that was in the movie with us, her and I did a book called The Strangers. We started writing a story, but I didn't get it published because I did like a bunch of different versions of it, and I couldn't figure out what I wanted it to be like, how I wanted it to end. But yeah, so there's been, I did one too called Camp Deadpool or something like that, but obviously I didn't want to get it published because Deadpool. But that one was basically about an alien who lives at the bottom of a pool. But so there's been stories like that that I have not got published. The night I saw it was based on my mom seeing a Sasquatch-looking creature when she was younger. Something strange about a dog with human eyes, which was just a really stupid story. Saturday the 14th, which was really stupid. It was basically about a killer who goes out and kills the day after Friday the 13th because he's a fan of the movies. I was going to do one called Haunted Mask, but it was, kind of copyright with Goosebumps, even though it was just Haunted Mask, not the. But my premise was going to be that the mask itself is the killer and not the person. I think I kind of incorporated that into another story, though, and maybe, I don't know. But, yeah, so like I said, there's been a bunch of stories that I have not gotten published. I wanted to do, like, in my head, my dreams or something like that, because I've written a couple of stories about my dreams. I think it's in Nonsensical Zero Random or something. Dreams I had about a daughter named Clover, and I've had a third dream about her since, and I wanted to write that in a book. Those three dreams. I want to include a crazy dream I had that included my grandmother and aunt who both passed away. And I wanted to include other dreams like the French dream one that I included in Reminiscence. There was an Asian dream one. I'm not sure if I want to include the dreams where I was shot because they felt so dang realistic. It made me wonder if that's what it really feels like. Not that I would want to know, but yes, because I could remember my dreams pretty decently, and sometimes I'll jump out of bed and I'll grab a journal and like write in it like a dream journal, so I know what I dreamt. But I've had vivid dreams, and I've had like lucid dreams, they would call it, where you're aware you're dreaming. And I've had dreams due to my sleep paralysis where you could see your body. I don't really consider it like an out of body experience because they say you're not supposed to do that. But or astral projection as they call it. They say you're not supposed to do that as a Christian, so I don't really consider it to be that, but I think it was just because I have sleep paralysis, so it caused vivid dreams. But in the dreams, I was able to see myself sleeping in the bed, and the first time I had a dream like that, when I saw myself in the bed, it actually startled me and woke me up. And the second time it didn't, but I don't remember. I think I wrote it down because I don't remember what I did anymore in that one after I saw myself. I didn't wake up right away. I think it was something weird, like I went into a cartoon world or something, or I don't know. But, I'd like to write a book about my dreams, because I do enjoy dreaming. It's often better than reality. Think about it. When you dream, you get anything that you want in your life that you don't have. You can have it in reality. Like me having a dream that I had a kid, and I don't know why, of all names, her name was Clover, like my cat. I found that kind of strange. And in the third dream, my other cat, Tootie, was a human too. But oddly enough, Minu was never in a dream like that. But I did dream of the three of them, and they're in there, as cats like they are. Because the girls didn't turn into humans from being cats. It's just I dreamt of them because I've always had a dream that I want to be a dad someday, and I've heard of, he was like John Stamos or something. He didn't become a dad for the first time till he was 54, and when I heard about that, it was when I was 34, and it gave me hope that I had 20 years. And I still have 16 years. I just turned 38 2 weeks ago. Well, 2 weeks ago yesterday now, because it's after midnight on St. Patrick's Day. But I still have that dream that one of these days I can still realize that dream of becoming a dad and having, because I would love to have make memories with my kids and show them things like my books I write and the crochet I do and pictures I take, and just teach them things. I would have loved, when I had my crochet class, if we had kids come in that wanted to learn crochet. I would have loved that to teach them. That would have made me so happy. But I didn't get any. I just had like older people in the class. Which was okay. It was fun. I was shocked to learn that one of my students that was in the class passed away. I think the end of last year or something. But it was a fun class. But like I said, I would have loved if a kid came in and, just said, hey, can you teach me how to crochet? That would have made my day. Because it's always been my dream to teach a kid how to do something I know how to do, and, you know, start traditions with them. I look at my Christmas tree every year and I imagine myself and my kids hanging ornaments on there and doing pumpkins on Halloween, egg hunts on Easter, all the things that my brother and I and our cousins used to do with my gram at her house when we were kids. And I mean, I miss those things. I really do. I think about it and it's like almost my entire past is gone. I have like almost nobody that sends me cards anymore. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I miss all that. But writing is a cool thing that I love doing, and I will probably always do that. And I wanted to do this, like I said, I thought it was neat to put this pumpkin on here because it's really scary stories, so it's Halloween themed. But when I did that first book I showed you, I did that in October to get it out for scary season, and it was, I think, like mid-February that I did this one. That I did I threw the extra stories in there and got this one out there. And, I would like to get some more copies to sell to people, because when I get these copies like this, see what I autograph them. So if somebody buys them from me or a local bookstore that allows me to put them in there, I can autograph the copies and somebody can buy it. You can buy this from me $12. Well, not this one specific because I hold on to one to show people. But if I get more like this, you'll be able to buy it just like this from me, autographed, for the same $12 you buy online, but you have to buy it from me locally. But I think it's pretty neat, though, to be an author and to see my face, like I said, on the back of the book. Right there. The author picture. And, yeah, so I don't know, I don't really have anything else to say, so I guess I'm gonna end this little video. I hope you enjoyed listening to the Rodcast and listening to me talk about being an author. And like I said, I mean, if anybody wants to be an author, I say go for it. The only thing is, if you're a kid, you probably are gonna have to hold off a couple of years because you have to put your Social Security on the website. So, I mean, that's a little bit of a scary thing, but like I said, I've been a published author with the site, on there since 2012, and I haven't had anything bad happen, so, and I've been cranking out books because I come up with ideas, and I think it'd be cool, and like I said, I'm already thinking about what I can do for my next one, what kind of a kid book I could possibly write, because like I said, I wanted to do something too that wasn't always scary. But I do enjoy writing scary stories, and I mean, it's a cool thing, if people can get my book so they can maybe sit around a campfire and read my stories, or under the covers at night when you're going to bed, just read my stories. And I would love for more people to buy my book and read it and tell me what you think about it, tell me your honest opinion of what you think about me being an author. Because I would love to hear what people think. I mean, I haven't had very many people read it. And I mean, my mom read some of it and said it's pretty good, but she's my mom, so I would love to have like a stranger that didn't know me, or maybe a friend that did know me or something, just read it and just tell me honestly what you think about it. But I had a lot of fun writing it, and like I said, it's been a lot of editing and stuff to get it out there, and you have to keep reading through the book numerous times to make sure there's no grammar errors in there. And I've had to fix a few things that were inconsistent in one of the stories, running out of time, I think. But yeah, like I said, I mean, it's been fun writing it all in all. And I would love to write like a novel-sized book, but right now, Running Out of Time is the longest story that's in here by far. Probably. But yeah, so that's about all I have to say. And like I said, I hope you enjoyed listening to this. And go out there, Amazon.com, buy my book, Really Scary Stories, by me, Rod B. Got a pumpkin on the cover. And tell me your honest opinion in the comment section on Amazon or on here, and let me know what you think about it. So I will see you on the next episode. So for now, this has been the Rodcast.